So let's begin with the snare drum part. Now remember, you don't need a marching snare drum to perform this. It's meant to be accessible for students and schools who may not have access to marching drumline gear just yet. So using a snare drum off a drum kit or a concert snare drum is absolutely fine for this. So let's start going through the piece. Now the introduction bar there, just before the A section, it's like a call and response thing between snare drums and the tom-toms. So let's play through that now. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so pretty straightforward. Probably the thing to remember about that bar is just the dynamics, alright? So we're at fortissimo, so we want to ensure that the students are getting their sticks up to that 90-degree angle. Then just on beat 4, we've written in a rim shot, so making sure we're hitting the rim at the drum at the same time to get that real crack sound. Okay, moving on to the A section. Let's play through the A section, and then we'll talk about that a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so back to, in terms of dynamics, back to MF here. So lowering that stick height now. And then you'll see on beat 2 there of the A section, we've written in, we're hitting the top of the drum, the rim on the top of the drum. So that's what that is there. And then just ensuring that we're getting that difference in stick height between the accents and the non-accents. That's what's going to create that real interest and dynamic in the piece. Just before the B section there, we've got a crescendo. We want to make sure we actually hit beat 1 as an accent there and then drop. Okay, so that will create a little bit more dynamic as well. Okay, moving into the B section. Now this section I guess comes up a few times in the piece. This is kind of the main groove section of the piece, where the snare drums kind of keep a 16th note pulse with a few accents throughout to create the groove. So let's play through that now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so we've got rim shots as the accents there all the way throughout. So it's basically a 2-bar pattern. So the accents in the first bar being on 2 and 4, then in the second bar the accents being on beat 2, then on the and of 3, and then the and of 4. The most important thing to remember about this section when teaching students this is to really not so much focus on the accents, but really focus on the non-accents, those low 16th notes. We want to keep those probably just a few centimeters off the drum, and that will create the difference between the non-accents and the accent. So that will make the accent really pop out. Okay, so that's the B section. They're probably the two most important things to remember about that section is the non-accents, keeping them low, and really popping out those rim shots. Okay, moving on to the C section. So C section is just a 2-bar section which goes something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so pretty self-explanatory there, similar to the other sections where we want to make sure that we're getting the difference between the accents and the non-accents. We are back to fortissimo in this section, so nice big stick heights. Alright, and really making sure we're hitting those rim shots to have the most impact that they can have. Alright, so the D section. The D section is, I guess it's kind of a little bit of a snare drum feature. They're kind of the part that's playing the most through this section. So let's have a play through the D section. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, like the rest of the piece, we're applying natural sticking to the 16th note. So what that means is that the right hand is playing on 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the left hand is playing all the beats in between that. So 1 E and R, 2 E and R3, E and R4, E and R. So that's what we call natural sticking. So as you can see in the first bar of D there, the first 2 beats, we've got this pattern of 1 and 2 E and. Alright, so instead of applying alternating sticking to that, alright, we're starting with a right hand on beat 1, and then we've got another right hand on the and of 1. So that's what we talk about. That's what we mean when we talk about natural sticking. The other thing in this section is the introduction of a flam. So the first time, this is the one and only flam in the piece. So just on beat 4 of the second bar of D there, just to watch out for that. So the thing with flams is making sure that the setup, the students are set up well for that flam. So you can see there it's on beat 4. Now before that on beat 3 we've got 2 8th notes. Alright, so we want to make sure that that left hand is a downstroke, so that it's set up nicely to hit the right hand flam. So we have 1, 2, 3 and 4. Alright, so it's already in position because we played that downstroke on the and of 3. So that's a really important thing to remember about flams, is making sure the setup is right for the flam. We're not coming from a position where it's almost impossible to get down in time to play the flam. Then we get to the last section of D, which is a crescendo. Now we've got rim shots on all ands of the beat here, and again we're applying the natural sticking. Okay, so we gradually want to make sure our stick heights gradually get higher through that bar. Okay, now moving on to the E section. This is where this is like the tom-tom feature, I guess. So the snare drums kind of take a little bit of a back seat here, and we're just going to kind of outline the backbeat throughout this section. So let's go ahead and play the E section. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this could be the E section could be an opportunity for you to include some visuals as such. So whether that be like stick twirls in between those backbeats, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, things like that could be really useful and add to the visual of the piece as well. Then after the F section, we get to the G section, which is the final 2 bars. This is kind of the ending of the piece. So let's play through that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, great. So that's the last bar of that piece. Watch out for the sticking there. There's a little bit of we've gone away from the natural sticking there in that last bar a little bit. So, but that right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, it just flows nicely, and it will look great in a snare drum line. Okay, so that's the snare drum part. Good luck with it. I hope this video has been helpful.